Hi, Lightbrite back. In order for me to get that help that I needed for Jamie, I had to go through the appeal process, at which point Colin Holt actually sent Jamie in to Richmond. They did a follow-up for cognitive. The report came back, which stated that Jamie did have issues and that he would benefit from therapy, both he and his wife. Colin agreed, once again sent his file to Disability Awards and instructed us to have regular once a week visits by a occupational therapist that would come to our home. So he paid for this lady to come to our home 1 day a week for 3 months. And that was November, December, January. She would give him 3 different prognoses as she progressed through our therapy. This was strictly to see if she could fix his brain now that it was 4 years after his head injury. He paid for her to come all the way out from Creston, paid for the hotel, and paid for her wage. All of this coming out of our claim. Even though Colin knew, because Dr. Freeberg told him, that anything after 2 years probably won't matter. So after that, that just means that they're holding the file, trying to find a loophole, trying to get it so they can change some of the evidence that has been piling up as I've been requesting document after document. So there you go. When that report came back, and then Trish White came, she did her thing, wrote her reports, gave Colin 3 of them. I would phone Colin and I said to him, I don't think it's working. And he would say, well, the reports say that it will be slow to come, but it is slowly coming, and Trish wants another 3 months. And I said, well, of course Trish wants another 3 months. She needs a paycheck. She's not going to tell you, oh, I can do all I can do for them. She's going to write reports. Even if there is no progress, she's going to show a 0.1% maybe. She's got to show some kind of improvement, or she won't be hired again. I told Colin that too. And he said, well, yeah, she could very well do that. And so I said, well, I don't want her back. I don't feel she's helping. Jamie has not changed in anything. So he said, okay, you have that option. Because you did follow out to the very end, my recommendation, we are going to follow up to send you to a couples counseling to teach both of you how to cope together with your husband's brain injury. So they scheduled us with Donna Stevens in Banff. We saw her 3 visits. Each visit did nothing. We introduced ourselves on the first visit. She did an hour. Second visit, we came back and she asked if we implemented any of the strategies she put in place to get us to pull together a little more, which she said, which were once a week, go out together, every night go for a walk. Jamie, write in your book, keep writing in your book, and we'll see you next week. Next week came. Of course, Jamie didn't have his book. He forgot his book, because I'm always the one giving him his book. So when Donna Stevens asked him where his book was, he said, "What book?" She didn't like that very much. She couldn't understand it. I asked her, I said, "Have you ever met a person who just can't remember? They just don't remember, so why would they remember to remember a book? Because they don't even remember the book." She didn't understand that. So she suggested to Colin, our case manager, to send Jamie for another assessment on his brain to a proper person who could actually maybe help him and me, us. And then she terminated her contract with WCB, and we never went back for any more. So as Colin was working through this, in the meantime, the award that came down in December of 2007 came back with a number and a piece of paper that said I could actually apply for a commutation of funds to pay down our debt. So that's what I did. I petitioned for the Disability Awards Adjudicator to commutate Jamie's award to pay down debt. Now that adjudicator was Greg Griffiths. When Greg Griffiths phoned me about our file, he really wasn't a very nice man. He spoke with a degrading, smart-ass or smart-alecky voice, asking me why I needed a commutation of funds to pay off a student loan. He said, "Isn't your husband like 35 years old? Obviously you can't pay bills. Why would that still be there? You think I'm going to grant you a commutation?" And I said to him, "Well, that we incurred as the student loan that we needed to get Jamie retrained, because he couldn't go back to the bush, his only source of income." Then he said, "Oh." I did, however, ask him why he was using that tone of voice to me, because it was really upsetting. He was just trying to see what type of person I was, like personality-wise. I wanted to lace into him. I wanted to tell him right off. But why didn't I? Because I was afraid that they would do something to my husband's case. And I bet you every single person out there in injured land feels the same way. But do you know what? It doesn't matter if you're nice or not. They're gonna screw you anyway. This is why they need better laws. There's way too much power for one board to possess. Too much. And that's my view. Way too much power. Greg Griffiths of the Disability Awards Adjudication System said that he was going to suspend my commutation until the review came in of the decision letter dated August 30, 2007, which would be done in March, or April 28th. April 28th, 2008. So I agreed, and I'm going to end this session on that note. So I will click back in on chapter 11 and try to keep my story going until where we are right now, and the letter that I received in the mail yesterday, in which case I wrote 2 video responses and deleted both of them because it wasn't a very nice person who was talking. So I didn't publish those 2, but I was very frustrated. It was like a bullet in the mail. Stay tuned. Lightbrite out for now.